Let's blow up some lands. Goodbye to your lands. Double surveil. I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark and say the opponent is a little upset. Solemn. Go get a land. Look at all these lands I have, opponent. You should probably play some of those. They're really good. How do we feel about baby Ugin, opponent?
Recklessness and fear.
Yeah, I think we just daddy Ugin them. Good game. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Carnarium. I'm Waste, and I got another video for you today. We're playing a little Pioneer today, a little land destruction in Pioneer, seeing if we can make that work. So, this is the deck list. As you can tell, it's mostly mono-white and colorless spells, so we'll go down the list real quick here. The main spell of the deck is Fall of the Thran. Fall of the Thran is a 6-mana mono-white saga. So the first chapter says destroy all lands. And then chapter 2 and 3, each player returns 2 land cards from the graveyard to the battlefield. So it's kind of like full-on land destruction, but then each player slowly gets 2 lands back a turn for 2 turns, so 4 lands total, and then Fall of the Thran sacrifices itself. So what we're trying to do is break the symmetry of this card. And the way that we break that is in a couple ways. So the first way is we want to get Fall of the Thran down and blow up all the lands. And we want to do that while we have Soul Guide Lantern down. So Soul Guide Lantern is a 1-mana artifact. When this artifact enters, exile target card from a graveyard. Then we can tap and sacrifice it to exile each opponent's graveyard. So the line is to play Fall of the Thran, blow up all the lands, and then immediately pop Soul Guide Lantern and exile our opponent's graveyard. Then, when chapters 2 and 3 go off, they won't have any lands in their graveyard to bring back. On top of that, we're running a bunch of colorless ramp, like Irencrag and Magnifying Glass. Solemn Simulacrum helps get a land out of our deck. Forsaken Monument doubles all of our colorless land sources. And Ugin the Ineffable makes all our colorless spells cost 2 less to cast. In our sideboard, we're running a bunch of lesson cards. You remember these maybe from Standard a little ways back. Environmental Sciences, Reduced to Memory, and Introduction to Prophecy. Since we're playing best of 1, we can only have 7 cards in our sideboard, but you could flush this out for best of 3 and have 15 cards if you want. We have Professor of Symbology to go get those cards when we learn. And then the rest of the deck is a lot of board wipes, more board wipes, more board wipes, more board wipes, and then them getting finisher / board wipe in Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Like I mentioned before, we're running Forsaken Monument, so we're running a bunch of weird lands to turn this legendary artifact on. We obviously have our plains that we can go and fetch, but we have Shefet Dunes, which is a land that taps for colorless, or we can pay 1 life to add white mana. We want a good balance of white mana and colorless mana because half our deck is white and half our deck is colorless, and all of our removal is white, so we have to have ways of making white mana. So early game, Shefet Dunes gives us white mana for all of our white spells, and late game adds colorless mana that we can double or use on any of our other colorless spells. Arid Archway is a bounce land, so if we bounce a desert, we can surveil 1. We're running Conduit Pylons, which is a desert, so we can bounce this and surveil 1. When this comes down, it surveils 1. Cascading Cataracts is an indestructible land, so it won't get affected by Fall of the Thran. It also can fix mana in a pinch by paying 5 to add 5 mana of any combination of colors. It also adds colorless on its own. And then we're running a couple utility lands and Crawling Barrens, Field of Ruin, Promising Vein, and 4 Radiant Fountains because aggro is so big in this format, we just need to be able to gain life. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe. Now let's go blow up some lands. Opponent goes first. What a surprise. Okay, we have a bunch of Radiant Fountains, so we should be able to stay alive for a while. No white mana to cast Shatter the Sky. Conduit Pylons technically gives us white mana, but we do have ramp. We'll keep. We'll probably be able to get another white source and Shatter the Sky. And if it's aggro, all 4 Radiant Fountains will be able to stay alive for a while. So let's surveil turn 1. Yeah, that gives us turn 2 ramp, so we'll take it. Doesn't fix our white mana problem, but it doesn't look like we're going to be under immediate siege. Okay, discard deck. Well, I got a lot of things that I'm willing to discard. Radiant Fountain. Life, Irencrag. Go. blank, sure. We don't really care about our graveyard, so that's okay. I guess we care about it when we cast... I guess we care about it when we cast Follow the Thran, but otherwise we don't care about our graveyard. Sure. I would probably take the Magnifying Glass, yeah. I think that's the right call. It's very slow, but it does allow us to investigate and make clues. Okay, sure. I love that. They made 2 mana and couldn't use it. So funny. I think we'll pop this on their end step since they can't make me discard at instant speed. Let's Conduit, see what's on top. Sure. And then we will Soul Guide again. We'll get rid of their Go Blank, I guess. I don't think they can get it back, but you never know. Pass the turn. We can crack Soul Guide again and draw a card on their end step. Yep, they know what's in my hand. Okay, so we'll draw a card. They can technically use Gaia Reach to make me discard at instant speed, but I also get to draw. I think it's draw, discard, right? Yeah, so I get to draw and then discard, which is not ideal for them. Okay, so we can play both of these, which is awesome. Black cannot interact with artifacts at all. So once they're on the battlefield, these things are safe. Draw, discard, okay. Gaia Reach is good for them, because it allows them to continue to make me discard even when I have no cards in hand. But if we get a Field of Ruin, we can get rid of that. Okay, pump up to level 2. Sure, sure. Okay, that's a good draw. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we can hide the Ugin if we want by drawing the planes and then drawing the planes now off the effect, and then next turn drawing the Ugin. Because if we draw it now, they're just going to make us discard it. And we can't cast it, unfortunately. We only have 4 mana. So let's take the planes, hide the Ugin on top, play the planes, make a clue. We're still at 22 life, so they got a ways to go. Level 3, what does level 3 do? At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards. Okay, so they get to draw a card. Okay, so what do we get rid of? The Waste Knot or the Bandit's Talent? Let's hold that, actually. Let's draw on their end step. They have 0 creature lands, they can't get rid of the Ugin. I mean, they probably have black spells that get rid of planeswalkers, so what's the best thing to get rid of? I honestly think the Bandit's Talent is worse than the Waste Knot.
Be gone!
Because that passively gets them card advantage. The Waste Knot, they have to actually make me discard stuff to get card advantage. So that like forces them to use their Gaia Reach Sanitarium because I have no cards in hand. And that takes up their mana so they can't cast their other spells. So I think this is the right choice. On their end step, we'll crack this clue. And then from here, I think we just kind of make clues and, you know, if Ugin survives, we can +1 and start making creatures. If they kill the creatures, we get the cards from those creatures. So we can create pseudo card advantage from here on out. That card advantage that doesn't really exist in our hand. I'm assuming they don't have a direct way of getting rid of Ugin, because I feel like they would have just fired that off by now. I mean, Black has a ton of different ways of getting rid of planeswalkers. So if they had one in their hand, I feel like they would have used it by now. Louis? Are you rubbing me out, Louis? I mean, we're still in the thick of the game. I mean, the game is not won. Louis. Louis. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. So this is the issue with discard decks, and this is coming from someone who loves hand hate decks and discard decks. If the opponent runs out of cards in their hand, you don't really have a way of gaining value off making them discard anymore. Now, Gyre Reach plus Waste Not is an exception to that. That's why Gyre Reach is an all-star in this deck. And I feel like if I was them, they're still well in this game. They can just keep using Gyre Reach to get value off Waste Not. But I have a feeling they don't feel that way. Okay. Go to their end step, activate ability, draw a card. Sure. Soul Guide Lantern, which is free because of Ugin's ability. Oh, big Ugin. So which one do you think will make them scoop first? Would you like to let me resolve my Ugin the Spirit Dragon? It's just a little 8-mana planeswalker. I'm sure you've heard of it. So I think if we don't get roped out, what we'll do first is we'll -2 to get rid of Waste Not. That will make Gyre Reach way less effective. And then, since we know they don't have Planeswalker removal in their hand, you know, we'll just +1 the Ugin and kind of go from there. Louie! Louie! Where are you going? Where are you going, Louie? You didn't even let me blow up your lands. Alright, we're playing against Conspirator 5. Conspirator 5. Opponent gets to go first. That's a bummer. This hand is kind of top heavy. I think we need the mulligan. Better. Still slow, but we'll keep. And I think we'll put back... a Conduit. Yeah. Because we have Arid Archway, so we can bounce this Conduit and still double Surveil. And we drew a Conduit anyway. So it's like we had our second mulligan hand. Yep, we'll keep that. So next turn, there's... unless we draw planes, which we know we're not going to, there's no way to play Professor on turn 2. So I think we just... balance the Conduit. Surveil. God, I feel so bad putting this in the graveyard, but I think we have to, don't we? No, I don't think we do, actually. And here's my logic. Our curve is really good from here on out. So next turn, the turn after, the turn after. Thoughtseize. Well, at least it doesn't... I mean, if they take our turn 2 play, we have another one. Okay, that's fine. They took our redundant card, so... really not a big deal. If they have another Thoughtseize, that's gonna suck. Croxa doesn't matter right now. I think we'll just dump this Conduit. Okay, so they're playing Rakdos mid-range with a hand hate little flare on top, which is cool. Follow the Thran, not what we need right now. Professor, we'll go get Environmental Sciences. They didn't see the Ugin, but I bet you they would have taken that if they saw it. Yoa, okay. You're gonna kill my Professor? Maybe? Easy block. Take 3 damage. We're gonna gain 2 back with Environmental Sciences, so it's okay. Crawling Barrens? I think we'll just Solemn here. This is a better tempo play. Uses all our mana, ramps us, and if it dies, which is probably going to against the Rakdos deck, it draws us a card. And then next turn, we're looking at maybe getting enough mana to Ugin the turn after that. Graveyard Trespasser, sure. It's a good one. Down to 10 life, gotta be careful. They don't attack, interesting. Interesting. Okay, play the Dunes. Play the Magnifying Glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gain 2 life, get another land. 1, 2, oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, next turn we have enough mana for Ugin. Play the Soul Guide Lantern. get rid of their Kroxa. Okay, Graveyard Trespasser attacks. We'll block with the Solemn. Easy block. We would like to draw a card. Oh, other Ugin. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. Okay. Loses 3 life. Resolve. I think we can just lose the 3 life. Okay, so we're looking at 2, 3, 3. How do we feel about Ugin, Conspirator 5? It is nice. It is nice. How do we feel about Ugin? So we're gonna -3.
And you will roll.
They could have some type of Planeswalker removal. They are in black. They only have 2 cards in their graveyard, so I'm not worried about Kroxa. In the turn. Crack the blood token, maybe. Okay. Get rid of go for the throat. Doesn't kill Planeswalkers. What else you got? Hopeless Nightmare, sure. Resolve. Get rid of another Soul Guide. Pass the turn. Ooh, am I gonna be able to cast this other Ugin? 2 Ugins? How do we feel about 2 Ugins? Let's plus this one. I don't really care about getting rid of this. And I guess let's plus this one and make some blockers.
Truth lies beyond vision.
How many cards in graveyard? 3? Okay. Gotta be careful, we're at 6 life. They could find a way to make us lose 6 life. Scry 2. Let's see what they do. We keep both on top. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if either of those cards is a way to get rid of a Planeswalker. The Yoa. Okay. Okay. That's it. Well, let's just blow that up. Right, okay. Sure. I still gain the loyalty. It's not like I didn't gain loyalty. I think I'd like to investigate and then draw a card. Ooh, another Magnifying Glass. Pretty sweet. If only we had a Forsaken Monument down, we'd be getting a bunch of life. Okay, so now would be a perfect time to draw Fall of the Thran. Good game. GG. We didn't even blow up their lands. Alright, we're playing against some type of foreign name that I can't pronounce. We get to go first. This is a great hand. We'll keep ramp on turn 2, introduction on turn 3. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess we'll gain some life on turn 1 just in case we're playing aggro. Is it? Okay. Could be... Is it Phoenix or some other nonsense? Spell Pierce? Yep. That's okay. We still can introduction on turn 2. Or turn 3. Okay. Introduction. Spell Pierce? Come on, get them out of your hand. You know you want to. Okay, yeah, is it Phoenix? So they won't have too many counter spells. Shatter the Sky and Conduit. Don't feel like we need more of that. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're okay with the split up. Then we'll take the Conduit. Gotta keep the mana coming. Sleight of hand. This is definitely Izzet Phoenix. Are you missing a land drop? No. Okay. We don't need more Fall of the Thrans. Thank you. Surveil 1. Arid Archway. I mean, I guess it's ramp, right? What? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we need to take that. And then we'll just save this for a point further down the road. We have Crawling Barrens down, so we can just pump up the Crawling Barrens. Not waste our mana. Double Consider. Ominous Seas. Whenever you draw a card, put a foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not Izzet Phoenix. Maybe it's an Ominous Seas deck. Interesting. Decline. We don't want to put it in harm's way. Let's... Prophecy. They can spell pierce it if they want. Okay, so Forsaken Monument is great, and Radiant Fountain is also good. I think I'm okay with taking both of those. Well, maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we probably don't need the Radiant Fountain, actually. Let's surveil it away. Changed my mind. Would have been better if I changed it earlier, but what can you do? What is it? 8 for shadow counters? It's just an 8/8, so it's not like it's hexproof or indestructible or anything like that. Maybe they're running spells that protect it, but I haven't seen any so far. Treasure Cruise, put some counters on Ominous Seas. Okay. Artist Talent, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. Sure. Surveil. Split up. Well, if we Solemn, it's going to get shuffled away anyway. Which is too bad. So what do we do here? Do we Forsaken Monument? I'm afraid of it getting Spell Pierced. Although they haven't had a Spell Pierce the whole rest of this time, but they could now. Let's go to our second main, see if there's any stick. Yeah, there is. So they have something to do at instant speed, but it could be a Consider or something else like that as well. If we do this, we can't do anything else anyway. I think we just Solemn. We can't really counter it. If it dies, we get to draw a card. We get to ramp here, get another white source as well. So now our white sources aren't so awkward. It was just a Consider, but still, we had to play around the Spell Pierce. I would like to keep my Forsaken Monument. Okay, we only need one more counter for Ominous Seas. Are you gonna blow up my Solemn? You can absolutely do that. Sounds good. Of course, Shatter the Sky. Cool. So now we have 2 ways to blow up stuff. Treasure Cruise. Put a bunch of counters on Ominous Seas. Can they do this at instant speed? Remove 8 for shadow counters from Ominous Seas. Yeah, they can. So maybe they're going to try to make their 8/8s at instant speed. Well, I don't think they can counter this, right? Looks like they could. If we play Forsaken Monument, it might be too late. They're very close to 16. They would need 3 8/8s to kill us. They can create the 8/8s at instant speed as well, if we try to blow this up. So what do? We could play Forsaken Monument and gain some life with Soul Guide Lantern. It's tough. It's tough that they can do this at instant speed. Well, all right, let's just go for it. It's our best play.
I know more than you could learn in 1,000.
So they can create 1 8/8. The 8/8 is going to be incentivized to attack the Ugin.
Troy.
So we're probably not even going to take damage from this 8/8 on this turn. Okay. Roll some cards. There's the Art Like Phoenix. So we can pop Soul Guide Lantern to get rid of their graveyard. Maybe they're gonna try to go for a big swing. It only triggers on their combat though, so we'll have a moment to pop this before they can get a bunch of Phoenixes on the battlefield. That's gonna pump up their 8/8. I think they cast enough spells, right? Get rid of their graveyard. It also makes it so they can't cast Treasure Cruise, so that's helpful as well. So Ugin takes the 11/11. Sucks, but all good. Do we have enough white mana? I don't think we have enough white mana. This gets countered. Let's see if they have the counter for it. Maybe not. Okay. Pass the turn. They usually only run Spell Pierce in this deck, so that's why I feel like I got a feel for their deck, but playing the Ominous Seas was throwing me for a loop. I have not seen Izzet Phoenix run Ominous Seas. That's a new one. Maybe they only run like 1 or 2 copies, and I just haven't seen it main deck before, but that's a new challenge that I have to deal with in that deck. Decline. We don't want to put it in harm's way. Okay, well, so we can fall the Thran. If we do this, can we fall the Thran still? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we couldn't follow the Thran, but we could Shatter the Sky. Okay. Spell Pierce. Okay. Auto pay. Do you have 2 Spell Pierces? Is that what you're doing here? No? Okay. I think we take the Conduit, Surveil 1, Solemn. Not really what I want, but it's a good blocker. I guess we'll take it. It's ramp and slow card draw. And a blocker. Okay. Hardcast the Phoenix. Prankster. Okay, so Shatter the Sky is gonna eat good next turn. We will Surveil. Do not need that. I'm gonna play the Solemn. I will ramp. I could have played it after the board wipe, but I also kind of want the card. Two cards, actually. And then do we just follow the Thran? I mean, that would be so brutal. We could just hit him with a 6/6, though, right? Okay. Izzet Phoenix. Nothing brings me more joy than beating Izzet Phoenix. Later. Alright. We're playing Old Crow 80 over here. Let's see, Old Crow 80. So we got Soul Guide Lantern. We got 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, a little bit much. We have white mana, Conduit Pylons, so we can Surveil 1. They get to go first. We do have a lot of removal and our land destruction in hand. So we have the combo in hand, but are we going to survive to the combo? I think since we're surveilling with Conduit, I think we're okay, but we could get run over here by an aggro deck. Alright, tap Blood Crypt. We could get Thought Seized. We got another land, so that's good. We're looking for another white source if possible. I kind of want to keep that, but I think we need a white source. That would technically go get us a white source, but it's going to be too late by the time we get to it. Opponent plays Blackleaf Cliffs, Blade of the Oni. Quick creature has base power and toughness 5/5, has menace, is a black demon in addition to its other colors and types. Okay, they're an impatient player, your go. We're playing ranked, buddy, you can't be impatient. Okay, Conduit Pylons, let's Surveil again. It's a land, but it's colorless. I guess Split Up will work if we have 4 lands. So I guess we'll keep. And we'll do another Soul Guide Lantern. Let's pop one of the Soul Guides on their turn. Draw a card. Urborg. Okay. Unholy Annex. Sure. Is this a demon? It is a demon. So they've turned on their front side here. So I think they get to, what, draw 2 and we lose 2 life? Or draw 1, we lose 2 life, something like that. Okay, let's pop one of these. Draw the Cascading Cataracts. Oh, we drew a Plains. Okay. That's all we can do this turn. We do have... We'll have Shatter the Sky or Split Up next turn. So hopefully they play a bunch of creatures that we can blow them up. One more creature. Thought Seize. Okay, that doesn't matter. They can take whatever they want. Our whole hand's removal. I would think about Follow the Thran if I was you. Sure. That wasn't the one I was going to use because it would only kill one of your creatures. Split Up has to choose between tapped or untapped, and so I'd only kill one creature with that spell, but Shatter the Sky, on the other hand, kills everything. We do have life gain in the deck, like I talked about in the intro. We have a couple life gain lands. We have ways to get in our sideboard and get some life gain. Good spell for them, Fable the Mirror Breaker. It's tough going second, man. It's tough going second. Always a little bit behind. Okay, so we can Shatter the Sky, Arid Archway, and then have Follow the Thran next turn. I think that's worth it. Yeah, we'll have to take the damage, which is a bummer. Arid Archway. We'll get back the Conduit so that we can Surveil. We don't need another land. We're looking for spells at this point. We got a good amount of mana. Now they could Thought Seize us again and ruin this whole plan of ours, but we'll see. Knowing with Affliction. Heartless Act. Shouldered, sure. Okay. Gotta get rid of that. I don't think it's a demon though, so they're not gonna drain us. Yeah, we have no choice. Soul Guide Lantern, yep. I think we're dead. Conduit, let's see what's on top. By the skin of our teeth. Okay, blow up all their lands. Exile their graveyard. Where'd your lands go? I think we're still dead though. But hey, we did the thing. We did the thing. Yeah, and then we draw a card and we die. Blah. That's okay. It was a moral victory. We still blew up all their lands. Alright, we're playing against the Goodest Hoer. The Goodest Hoer. Okay, that's an interesting name. We technically have 3 mana plus Introduction to Prophecy. We don't have any white mana, except for Conduit. We get to go first. I think because we get to double Surveil, we'll keep. And hopefully see some lands on top. See what's on top. That's a white source. We'll take it. Okay, Arid Archway, the Conduit. Surveil again. Yeah. We needed lands. We'll take the lands. Playing Rakdos and Mutavault. You're missing out. Maybe they're playing Reanimator. No. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Maybe just Rakdos mid-range. Or maybe mono red aggro splashing black. Conduit. Surveil. Another Conduit. I don't know if we need another Conduit. I think we're okay. Prophecy. Forsaken Monument. Professor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We'll have Forsaken mana, so let's do it like this. Fable. Farewell's looking better and better. Let's see. Should we Conduit, then Professor? Or we could Dunes and blow up the board. Probably that, right? Yeah. Well, we can only kill one thing though. Okay, let's get down the body. Let's go get Prophecy. Next turn we'll have enough mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Forsaken Monument. Yeah. I think this is gonna pair nicely with our Forsaken Monument. The goal right now is just to get to Farewell. And or Ugin. I mean, Ugin would take care of the board too. It's a cool swamp. I don't think I've ever seen that swamp before. Okay, we're definitely getting rid of the Goblin. Can't let them ramp. Annex. They don't control a demon. Alright. Maybe we're gonna blow up some lands this game. The Goodest Hoer. How do we feel about blowing up some lands? Surveil that. Follow the Thran. We already have one in hand. We don't need that. I'm torn. I think we can get this down and not have to worry about it getting blown up. I don't see a ton of artifact removal in Rakdos decks. At least I have never seen like straight artifact removal, like raids or other spells like that. Entering your dross, sure. So now they have a demon. You're missing out for 2. Next turn we'll have Farewell mana. Ooh. So our gamble to play Forsaken Monument worked out. We don't need a second Soul Guide Lantern. So we can just Ugin here. But I kind of want them to stick around because I want to blow up their lands. If we Ugin, they're just going to scoop. So let's take out their creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. Keep all artifacts. Okay. Play the Soul Guide Lantern. Gain 2 life. I want to blow up lands so bad. We haven't been able to this whole video. That's my only target, so it's got to be my own Farewell. And turn. Let's see what they do. They have a full hand. I wonder if they just hit me with Mutavault. Okay, sure. Hit me with Mutavault. If they just do this and pass, I'm gonna laugh so hard. Opponent. Okay, they at least Unholy Annex. Pass. Resolve. Mutavault is all creature types, so it counts as a demon, which is annoying, but that's why it's in the deck. Okay, so let's blow up some lands. Let's do it. We'll go full control. I don't think it matters, but I just wanted to get the mana. Oh, it does matter, actually. Resolve. Goodbye to your lands. Let's Magnifying Glass. Get some mana down, gain some life. And then let's exile your graveyard. I don't want you getting any of those lands back. They still have card draw, so they got something going on. And they have a treasure, so technically they're not mana-less. Mutavault, okay. They could spend their one treasure on that. No? They don't want to do that? Okay, so what two lands are we gonna bring back? Probably Conduit. Double Conduit and then Solemn. Seems pretty good. Double Surveil. We could have done a couple other combinations of lands. Opponent. Thinking over their life choices. The Goodest Hoer. How are we feeling? You have a Mutavault and a Dream. Don't give up on the Dream. Opponent. Are you gonna rope me out? We haven't even seen my Ugin yet. I want to give you something to be truly salty about. Opponent. I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say the opponent is a little upset. Alright, get to finally surveil. Follow the Thran again. Do I do it? No. No. We'll show them some mercy. Let's Solemn. Gain some life. Make it 4/4. Take action. Go get a land. Look at all these lands I have, opponent. You should probably play some of those. They're really good. There you go. Nice little tap dual land. It would have been so funny to follow the Thran a second time. But we don't have a way to exile their graveyard, so it wouldn't be as funny. Ooh, they had Thoughtseize this whole time? Okay. Dunes and Arid Archway. That's okay. Professor... No, I think we're past the stage of needing our sideboard. We'll play Conduit again. Surveil again. Nope. I think we're okay. Let's scry 2, then draw a card. Gain 2 life. Play Baby Ugin. How do we feel about Baby Ugin, opponent?
Recklessness and fear are the seeds of
So now, all my 2/2s are 4/4s.
of the multiverse obeys me.
I could blow up their thing here, but it's actually hurting them as long as they don't have a demon down. So they're drawing cards, but they can't really do anything because they're limited on mana, and they have to address the board. So they kind of have to deal with a bunch of problems at the same time. I mean, that's definitely a good card. But again, they're losing 2 life every turn to draw cards. Let's attack. See what they do. No blocks. Down to 4. Yeah, I think we just Daddy Ugin them. Good game. Good game.
Reality is surprisingly flexible.
GG. Alright, deck review time. So I really like the deck. It's definitely more of a meme than a competitive deck in the ranked Pioneer format. Blowing up lands, while really funny, is not a super great strategy unless you have, you know, a ton of board wipes to essentially back you up. If you like this deck, definitely give it a try. It's not going to give you a high win percentage, but it's definitely tons of fun to play. I spent a good amount of time developing the curve of this deck. As you can see, it's, you know, pretty heavy in the 1 to 2 to 3 drop, and then kind of light in the middle, and then pretty heavy on the top tier. I just found that this combination of cards kind of lets the engine of the deck run, where we want to ramp in the early turns, blow stuff up in the mid game, and then have enough mana to play our bombs in the end. There's also just enough sprinkling of card draw through Solemn and Magnifying Glass, and ways to get in the sideboard to utilize other advantage, that the deck just kind of churns along, as you saw in the video. You could definitely play this deck in a different color, like you could do mono green, ramp into Ugin, and maybe splash a little white to do Fall of the Thran. You could try something like that. But I definitely think for the cards that are legal in Pioneer, you need a ton of removal in order to eventually get to the endgame goal of blowing up lands and getting Ugin down. So if you like the deck, subscribe, like, comment. If you want to join the Discord, link is in the description. Deck list is also in the description if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.